that you had some amazing plane stories at your last pack. I did, and I'm curious, A, which ones you told, because he has a lot, I don't know why, but he has a lot of plane stories.
They only heard one yesterday. Jason and I actually have another great plane story. My life is nothing but a plane story. There's my new name, Planestory Cohen. It's just who I am, it's what I am. Should we set this up? I think you should tell it and I can like animate it and chime in because the way you do it physically is better. And there's two of us today, so it's great.
Okay, so first things first. We don't know each other that well at this point. This was, what, 3 years ago? 2 years ago?
3 years ago, and I think at this point, like, we had met a couple times through
Yeah, we had met in the green room and hung out. Like, we knew each other, and we were, like, excited to see each other, but we didn't, like, hang out as much as we do now. And I saw Matt, and he was sitting across the aisle in one of those big planes that does the international flights, and he was like, "Hey, man!" I was like, "Hey!" And he goes, "Is that your seat right there?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he gets up and he walks over, and I had the sweetest old lady. And by sweetest old, I really should say sweet oldest lady. She was 107 years old.
She was, and the funny thing is, she was tiny. She was like
super tiny. Like when she got out of the airplane seat, she went down.
Yeah. But so sweet.
So Matt walks up, and I mean, I didn't know him well enough to know the charm turn. Matt's got a switch where he can just flip it, and I call it glamour, like from Twilight. He just glamours you, no, True Blood. He just glamours you, he just looks at you and he's like, "Hey, listen, could you run outside and give me your car keys?" And they're like, "Yeah."
And I have to pause it right here. When your fear of flying is so large, and 3 years
I didn't know if you wanted to go there, so I wasn't gonna.
Yeah, is so large. You have mechanisms in your body that just will overcompensate to overcome that fear. Mine at the moment happened to be charm because I was sitting across the plane by myself, traveling alone. I saw a familiar face and continued.
Yeah. And so he walks over, and this old lady, beautiful, sweet old woman, and Matt leans over and says, "Hi. My buddy's sitting next to you, and I have a seat on the other side of the plane. Would you mind terribly if we switch seats?" And she was like, "Yes." So she stands down. No. She stands down. And she just points. She just points as if by her pointing, everyone on the plane knows, like, she's like, I can't get that to her bag that's up in the...
For the record, I gotta say one thing, something just came to me. I mean, in no way was she, a little person. She was just a petite old woman. I feel like,
good point.
I'm making fun of people, and that's not what I'm doing.
Yeah.
She couldn't reach her bag.
Yeah. So anyway, she gets up, and Matt gets her bag, and he takes all her stuff out of the bin and takes her whatever under, and he takes everything over to her seat and puts it up. He's like, "Are you okay? Do you need anything else?" Or whatever. He gets her. It's okay.
I tried to buy her a bottle of wine too.
He did, and she didn't want to. So then he comes back over, and we sit down, and Matt proceeds to say, "I'm deathly afraid of flying." That was his first thing he said when he sat down, and I didn't realize that when it came across. And so we sit down.
Hey, so about to take off. Man, I fucking hate flying, man. Like, are you good with this? Like, you seem so calm right now.
And he proceeds to say stuff like that, like, "You just seem calm, like, you just seem..." And I love flying. Like, it's one of my favorite parts of the trip. I like getting on a plane, put my headphones on, relaxing. And he proceeds to ask me so many times if I'm okay with it that I start to get nervous.
And you guys, from my story yesterday, know exactly what I was doing while he was becoming nervous, because I was doing it.
Do you need something? Can I get? Do you need some water, or is there a?
No, I'm good. Is that supposed to be like that? Is there always a wing with a? Is that? There's a rivet. That rivet looks.